So now we want you to imagine you are up on the heights of Queenston. Major General Roger Hale Schaeff, responding to the situation at Queenston, dispatched the light company of the 41st under Captain William Terenzi and gunners of the Royal Artillery under Captain William Holcroft. Since all British troops had withdrawn from the village, American troops began to move in and plunder the houses. Meanwhile, American troops continued to cross into Canada virtually unhindered. Lieutenant Colonel Winfield Scott of the 2nd U.S. Artillery now assumes control over the U.S. forces in Houston. Shortly after 10 o'clock, Holcroft's artillery detachment arrived at Lumens Point and began to bombard the U.S. forces on the heights. Supported by Terenzi's light company, the British forced the looters out and regained the village. The Royal Artillery continued to pound the Americans up on the heights. So you can see that the American line is starting to crumble and retreat. Native warriors under the command of John Norton then made their appearance up on the heights. And unlike earlier attempts made by the British forces, Norton and his allies swung around to the west and attacked from the south. The Grand River warriors opened fire on the New York riflemen, who quickly broke and fled. The warriors began to cross the field from east to west, taking advantage of the ground and maintaining a deadly fire on the U.S. troops. Now, seeking to dislodge the British native allies, Scott led counterattack, firing volleys by company and platoons. So you can see they're getting into position on the field. So you can see the First Nations allies are repositioning themselves to be able to answer the American line that has reformed in the center of the battlefield.
Meh.
Now, the American commander, Winfield Scott's counterattack, now that he's reformed all of his forces into a strong, unified force, they're going to start firing by volley and by section to try to push those First Nations allies under Norton's command back. So we get a good volley from the American forces, but the First Nations allies are still holding strong. So you can see the maneuverability of the First Nations allies under Norton's command. Unlike the line troops, where it's a bit more of an awkward position of trying to wheel the troops around to keep that shoulder-to-shoulder position, to make those muskets most effective on the battlefield, the First Nations are able to change front and change positions really, really easily, and that way attempt to flank the American forces. And also, a lot of the First Nations allies, though some of them are carrying muskets, some of them are carrying rifles. So because we've got that rifling carved into the inside of the barrel, it's putting a spin on that projectile as it comes in, which, just like if you throw an American football, that spin is going to stabilize the round and make it go further and more accurately. So they're able, from a greater distance, to actually choose targets to fire upon.
Oh, here comes the